Hi everyone, I'm Judy and this is my take. And tonight I will be discussing the Democratic debate. And first of all, holy crap. That was crazy. That was like sparks flying everywhere. It was really good. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see that I had said that I have a feeling that they are all going to come down on Mike Bloomberg, and they did. And it was something. It was something to watch. Let's see. Let's start out with like the very beginning when it was like super fiery. They had asked who was it, Bernie, about how he would bring out the votes and everything. And, he said his part, but then he brought up stop and frisk for Mike Bloomberg and how that's not going to bring out the votes. And Bloomberg responded with, Bernie can't win because he's wanting to take healthcare away from people. So there was like some fire exchanges right there. And then right after that, Warren talked about Bloomberg's record on calling women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians, and he has a history of hiding his tax returns, his race. He has a history of racism, redlining, but that she is for the working class, and really there was nothing that Bloomberg really said in response to that, except that he apologized. And then let's see. Then Amy attacked Bloomberg, saying that he's been hiding behind his TV ads, and that she's actually happy that he's here on stage. And then she said that the criticisms that Bloomberg has made, that she needs to just get out. And then he responded with, that he's from New York and a New Yorker knows how to take on Donald Trump, who's also from New York, and blah, blah, blah. And then Biden had said that according to MSNBC's own poll, he is still on top as the one who can beat Trump. And then he said that Mike Bloomberg's record is not a great record, unlike Bloomberg has been trying to portray himself. He hasn't got a lot done. And then he has also the stop and frisk. And then he talked about how in the administration with Obama, they tried to stop Bloomberg's policy of stop and frisk. And even then, Bloomberg didn't stop. So yeah, that was crazy. It was interesting to watch, very interesting, and I think it had everyone on edge. They all came down on him, and if anybody thought that Bloomberg was like the strong debater, well, he has never been on a national debate stage, and it really showed. He seemed honestly just defeated, just by everyone. I mean, he started, not really knowing what to say back. He tried to pivot, but they wouldn't let him pivot. Let's see. Then there was Pete and Bernie exchange, where Pete had said that the two most polarizing candidates right now is Bernie and Bloomberg. And he said, he's actually a Democrat, unlike Bernie. Bernie responded by saying he's not polarizing, and he's trying to give a voice to the people who haven't had a voice. And then Pete responded with, he's not the only that Bernie is not the only one who cares about people, and just because he doesn't agree with his stuff doesn't mean that he doesn't care. So that was the little exchange they had. Let's see. then there was a question. There was a question about directed towards Warren about Bernie's supporters and how they've they've attacked people, and there was that one scandal or whatever where they attacked the union people and whatnot, and she kind of pivoted. Instead of attacking Bernie, she attacked Bloomberg, and she said ultimately that the candidates are the ones responsible for their supporters. Then they went on to talk about the healthcare debate. They all said their part about what it is, and there was a lot of sparks flying between all of them. Let's see, another big exchange was between Pete and Amy, and this one was kind of interesting too. And it started off by the question being asked to Klobuchar about her not knowing the president of Mexico's name. And I think honestly that they both made good points on it. Like, she forgot the president's name, and then Pete was like, well, you brag about your experience and yet you don't know this. And they kind of they went back and forth. And I thought that I don't think they did themselves any favors, honestly, because what I'm hearing already is that a lot of people thought that Pete kind of looked smug, patronizing Amy, and then honestly, there has been criticisms against Amy about her being this angry person who doesn't have the temper to be president. And she did start getting really angry. At first, yeah, she defended it, but then, as their little debate kept going, she did become more and more angry. So I think that she kind of fulfilled or met these expectations that some people already had about her and her anger. So yeah, I don't think either one of them did themselves any favors. Let's see, Warren attacked Biden, Warren and Biden attacked Bloomberg about releasing women from their self-disclosure agreements. And I thought that was pretty interesting also, because Warren just kept hammering Bloomberg that, so are you saying right now that you released them from their disclosure agreements? And Biden also said very similar. And then he also said, this is a problem that we have right now with Trump, is that there's no clarity, there's no transparency. Trump won't release his taxes. Trump has all these women under self-disclosure agreements and all this other stuff. And honestly, I think that he was kind of making the point that, where have we heard this story before? Oh yeah, just wait and I'll release my taxes. And then he kind of made a similar point when he was talking about Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders won't release his medical records. And, there's, whether like it or not, that's a very valid point. It used to be that, all the presidents would release, or all the candidates would release their records and their taxes. And Trump has honestly lowered that bar. And I think if we're going to say that, this behavior is not acceptable for Trump, then it shouldn't be acceptable for the Democrat who's running against Trump. So that's a very valid point. Honestly, I think that this ended up being a very good night for Biden. He came out strong. He came out looking like a front runner, and he was throwing in jabs, and then he was coming out. And I don't think that anyone really attacked him very well, and they were kind of like attacking each other. There was like little squabbles between like everyone else, and I think that this might be possibly the end for Bloomberg, and I'm making that prediction simply because honestly Bloomberg looked weak. Like, I know that he was trying not to look like angry, but by him not, fiercely attacking them back, he ended up looking weak. So we'll see how that goes. I think that the shine that Bloomberg had has been tarnished tonight. Like, he had this shine from the ads and no one had been attacking him. There's been no scrutiny on him. He's gotten to really like make this pretty little picture of himself and garner all the support. And I think it's basically because of all the money that he's been spending. But you know what? He's playing ball now with everyone, and everyone came down on him, and he really, really flopped. That's what I think. As far as how the rest of them stand, I think that Warren, I don't know, it didn't suit her tonight, honestly, to be just like smearing everyone. I mean, she didn't just like make good points. Like, she actually like smeared some of the candidates. For example, like, she said that all of Amy's plan, you could put it in a post-it note. Like, she was basically saying like it's almost non-existent, her healthcare plan or whatnot. And I don't know, it just like I've never seen her talk like that. And so it was kind of odd coming from her. Like, to me, it almost cried like desperation. And then every time that she had the stage, I mean, she just like kept going on and on and on about all these long drawn out stories, and she just like wasn't getting to the point. As far as Bernie, I think he did a really good job of attacking Bloomberg and everything. I don't think that he like nailed or brought it home on the things that he was trying to say. Like, he would start off really well on his attacks, and then he didn't close it. He didn't do the closure very well. But I don't think that his numbers are going to get really affected, honestly. I think he's still the front runner. I think Biden's goes up. We'll have to see about Pete and Amy here in Nevada and in South Carolina, because honestly, they don't have that much minority support. And so if they don't do well this time and in South Carolina, I don't really see a path for either one of them. And that's just me being honest. That's not me being a hater. Like, I wouldn't have a problem voting for any of them, honestly, except for maybe Bloomberg, just because he reminds me a lot of Trump, and I don't like him. So, yeah, that's me being a little biased, but you know what? Whatever. So anyways, I've been rambling on. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my video, and I will catch you guys soon. That's my take.